Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving some NFL plays for the wild card slate. Four-game slate starting on Saturday. Playoffs are finally here for NFL. Of course, we're going to be playing some fantasy football during the playoffs. I always play during the playoffs. I think it's one of the more fun slates because every game's, back to back. You get to watch each game, root for your players in every game that you have exposure to. Always like playing the playoff slates. Going to talk about some DraftKings plays I like, and we will go over Yahoo as well. I've started incorporating Yahoo into my NBA videos. Going to definitely start incorporating them into NFL videos as well. I'll talk about plays I like over here on Yahoo. They do have another big tournament, 500K baller with no rake. It's 10 entry max, so would highly recommend you guys play over there on Yahoo. It's a fair playing field, so if you're someone that doesn't play a ton of lineups, if you have the time to build out 10 lineups, I would recommend you play 10 lineups. It's $200 if you play 10 lineups, or you can just play one lineup, doesn't really matter. But it's a 500K tournament with no rake, 10 entry max, great tournament. I'm going to have 10 lineups in there. Hopefully, we'll see you guys at the top along with some of my lineups. Of course, we will go over DraftKings, though, as well, talk about some DraftKings plays I like. We'll go through each position, work our way through the player pool. Before we do get started, though, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, looking at quarterback for this playoff slate, I think if I'm paying up top, I either want to play Deshaun Watson or Andrew Luck. If I'm going to pay for a quarterback, I think those are the two guys that I want. DraftKings and Yahoo, I think those are the two guys I want. Russell Wilson's price is really different between the two sites. He's one of the more expensive quarterbacks on Yahoo, but on DraftKings, Russell Wilson's actually fairly cheap at $5,700. So I doubt I'm going to be playing Russell Wilson on Yahoo. If I'm going to pay up there, I'm going to play Watson or Luck. Same thing with DraftKings. I like Luck a lot on DraftKings at $6,400. I think if you can get to Watson, that is definitely fine. But I think Luck is a really good play at $6,400. Over on Yahoo, the pricing is pretty tight this week. It's actually pretty hard to pay up at a lot of spots. There isn't a lot of cheap guys I love. So I'll probably be going cheaper at quarterback on Yahoo. I really like Lamar Jackson as a cheap option. He's only $25. He's actually the cheapest quarterback out of all the starting quarterbacks on the slate over on Yahoo. So I'm going to be playing a lot of Lamar Jackson over there, especially because I'm probably going to be looking for value. On DraftKings, there's some cheap plays I do like, so it's pretty easy to pay up for quarterback. That's kind of what's going to lead me to Andrew Luck. I like pairing Luck with Eric Ebron. I think Eric Ebron at tight end is probably one of the better tight end plays on the slate. Obviously, him and Zach Ertz. Pricing's kind of different as well between tight end. We'll talk more about tight end when we get there, but I do like Ebron to Luck stack. If you can obviously go T.Y. to Andrew Luck, that's a good stack as well. But at quarterback, my favorite plays are definitely to pay up for either Luck or Watson, or go to Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson as cheap plays. On Yahoo, I really want to either get it in Watson or Luck, and if I can't fit in Watson or Luck, probably going to be playing a lot of Lamar Jackson at $25. Probably going to play a little bit of Dak Prescott at $30. I want to get in as much Ezekiel Elliott as I can, so that's going to lead me to paying up at running back and not being able to pay up a ton at quarterback. But that's kind of where I'm going at quarterback. At running back, Zeke is just, you have to play. I wouldn't say you have to play Zeke, but I would feel very scared not playing Zeke on this slate. He's quite expensive. He's $9K on DraftKings. Over on Yahoo, Zeke's $38. Pretty expensive, but nobody has a higher floor or ceiling on this slate than Ezekiel Elliott, at least in my opinion, especially floor. Zeke's just giving you 15, 20 DraftKings points pretty much every week. Even if he has a floor game, a rough game like he did against Tampa Bay, he's still giving you 15 to 20 points. He obviously has big upside, 35, 40-point upside. If Zeke gets 100 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, which he could here against Seattle, he's going to be a guy that you have to have. So at $9K on DraftKings, at $38 on Yahoo, I expect to have a ton of Ezekiel Elliott. Probably going to play him in every lineup on Yahoo. Just hard to avoid. I guess you could go a little contrarian, go down to Melvin Gordon, but on Yahoo, where there's only a $5 difference, DraftKings $1,300 difference, I don't know if that's enough savings for me to want to, go too cute and go down to Melvin Gordon. Just going to try and fit in as much Ezekiel Elliott as I can. He's going to be a number one priority for me on this slate. And then once you get off of Elliott, it gets really thin at running back. I think Chris Carson is a really good play, but his price is really starting to get up there. On DraftKings, Chris Carson's $6,800. On Yahoo, he's a lot more appealing at $25 because just a lot of the other running backs, the cheaper running backs, are kind of similarly priced. You don't have like any great value at running back on Yahoo, so I expect to be playing a lot of Zeke and Carson over on Yahoo. I like Carson a lot. With his price tag on DraftKings, it's a little bit tougher to get him, especially if you want to pay up at quarterback. But if you go cheaper at quarterback, don't play luck. If you go to like Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson, then you could probably fit in Carson with Elliott. But I do like a cheap running back on DraftKings. I like Jordan Howard a lot at 4,600. Don't love him as much on Yahoo because his price is kind of expensive at $20. He's priced similarly to Marlon Mack. He's kind of priced similarly to Chris Carson. And I would just feel much better getting up to Chris Carson. But on DraftKings, where Jordan Howard's only 4,600, I think he's one of the better running back values and maybe even one of the better value plays on the slate. He's getting a ton of carries lately, especially in games where the Bears are ahead. And the Bears are favored in this game at home against the Eagles. I would expect Jordan Howard gets 20 carries, if not more than that. He's going to get a few targets, but that's not really where his cup of tea is. It's going to be getting the carries, getting the goal line work. If Howard gets 100 rushing yards and gets into the end zone at least once, he's going to be one of the best values on the slate, which I think he can definitely do against the Eagles. Even though you want to target the Eagles outside with receivers, still a team that you can run against a little bit. So I like Jordan Howard here a lot on DraftKings. Over on Yahoo, though, going to be trying to play as much Zeke and Chris Carson as I can. Just don't love a lot of the cheap running backs. Like Jordan Howard, if he was like $13 or $14, I think that'd be a lot more reasonable. But at $20 on Yahoo, that's just too expensive for me. I would just feel much better getting up to Chris Carson, or even trying to get up to maybe Zeke and Gordon if you want to do that. But if you're not playing, or if you're looking to go a little bit cheaper, not play Jordan Howard, I guess you could go to Lamar Miller. Melvin Gordon's questionable, but I expect he plays. If he somehow doesn't play, though, you got Austin Eckler down there at 4,400. But like Gus Edwards, Darren Sproles, Kenneth Dixon, like these guys are not more than just tournament flyers, hoping they find the end zone. Really, the safe plays I think you want at running back are obviously Zeke, Chris Carson, Jordan Howard's I think one of the better values. I think Tariq Cohen as well could be a value play, especially if you think the Bears maybe lose this game or if they're going to be trailing. You probably want to go to Tariq Cohen, but I see the Bears winning this game and I see them playing from ahead. So that's going to lead me to more Jordan Howard. So let's move on to receiver now. Since I want to pay up for Zeke, it's going to be hard to pay up at this position, but can't go wrong with DeAndre Hopkins on a 4-game slate. Can't go wrong with T.Y. Hilton against a Houston team that he's just absolutely burned this year. Those are definitely my two favorite options if I can pay up at receiver. If I find enough value and I can pay up for like a Luck to T.Y. stack with Ezekiel Elliott, I will try and do that, but right now it's going to look pretty hard to do that unless just some value opens up, some injuries break our way. There are some injuries in the Bears receiving corps, so we go to the Bears real quick. Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, and Anthony Miller are all questionable. I would say probably all three of them play, but that's obviously news we're going to have to wait and see on as the week goes on. If they were to miss, that could open up more targets for maybe a Kevin White or a Bellamy, but these are not guys you're going to feel very great about. I think if like Allen Robinson misses, then that opens up more targets for the cheaper guys like Anthony Miller. If Gabriel were to miss, I think Anthony Miller will become more appealing. Maybe Allen Robinson sees a few more targets as well. Going to have to wait and see what happens there. Don't really want to target the Bears on the outside just because you never know which Bears receiver is going to have a big game. I think there's better plays like from the Bears running game with Jordan Howard at 4,600. Receiver for me, I think there are some cheap plays I like right now. So Nelson Aguilar is a cheap guy I want to talk about. He's only 3,800 on DraftKings, a very good value receiver in my opinion. Look at his targets the last few weeks, really shown a connection with Nick Foles, getting 7 and 6 targets the last 2 games. He's found the end zone at least once in the last 2 games, did score twice against the Redskins. He's put up over 20 DraftKings points in 2 straight games. I expect him to be one of the more popular value options. It just makes a ton of sense. He's getting the targets, he's getting the looks, he's finding the end zone. But over on Yahoo, Nelson Aguilar's price is not very appealing. He's $16 over here. He's similarly priced to guys like Tyler Lockett. You could even get like a Dontrell Inman for cheaper. Don't love Aguilar on Yahoo, but on DraftKings where he's 3,800, one of the better value receivers in my opinion. Over on Yahoo, I think my favorite receiver plays are definitely Tyler Lockett at $18. I just think he's a really good play over there with that price. I think he's a really good play on DraftKings as well at 5,300. I do like Tyler Lockett quite a bit, just a guy that has a ton of upside. He's been getting a lot of targets these last few weeks, even though he's not getting like massive 8, 9, 10 targets. His targets are vertical, like he runs a lot of vertical routes, runs down deep downfield, so he just gives you a lot of upside. Even though he only got 5 targets against the Panthers, still caught all 5 targets for 107 yards and a touchdown. That's the kind of upside that Tyler Lockett brings on a game-to-game basis. So I like him a lot today, or on this playoff slate, this wild card slate. I like Lockett at $18. I like him a lot on DraftKings as well at $5,300. Aguilar, not as interested in, like I said, on Yahoo, just because his price is so similar, or he's so similarly priced to other guys I think I'd rather play. Dontrell Inman, though, as a cheap option on Yahoo, I do like quite a bit at $14. He's been seeing consistent targets lately. Last 2 weeks, he's got 5 and 6 targets, 4 catches for 46 yards and a touchdown, 5 catches, 77 yards and a touchdown. Has scored in 2 straight games, and I think he could keep that streak going here. This Colts-Texans game, probably the most appealing game, just talking about total. Points expect to be scored. I think this game is probably the most likely game to shoot out, so do want to target some players from that game. I like Dontrell Inman. Obviously can't go wrong with T.Y. Hilton, but I think it might be hard to fit in T.Y. on the slate if you're trying to fit in Zeke. T.Y. is $28 on Yahoo. Probably could play him if you were to go with this 5. Don't know if I would play like T.Y. and Inman together, unless you were just doing like a full game stack there and running it back. But I do like Inman quite a bit over on Yahoo at $14. On DraftKings, he's not as appealing. He's $4,300, and I think I'd rather go down to like Nelson Aguilar. But if you do want a full punt receiver, play 2 cheap receivers so maybe that way you can fit in Chris Carson or fit in one of the expensive receivers like Hopkins or T.Y. I don't mind Inman, but I think I would play Aguilar over him for a little bit cheaper on DraftKings. On Yahoo, I think I would prefer Inman for cheaper than Aguilar. Let's move on to tight end now. Pretty gross position. I think there are really only 3 or 4 plays that I want to go to. So can't go wrong with Zach Ertz if you're paying up. Can't go wrong with Eric Ebron. On DraftKings, Ebron's definitely my favorite play. You get $1,200 savings going down from Ertz to Ebron. And since we played Andrew Luck, do want to stack him with someone, so I do like stacking him a lot with Eric Ebron. Over on Yahoo, though, the pricing's a bit different. If we go to Yahoo's tight end pricing, Eric Ebron's actually the most expensive tight end. Zach Ertz is cheaper than Ebron. I think if just talking between those two guys, I think I actually would play Ertz over Ebron over there. But where you get savings on DraftKings, I think Ertz is probably not as appealing since he's $1,200 more than Ebron. I like the savings you get getting the savings going down from Ertz to Ebron. If you want to take a flyer on Trey Burton, you could do that. He's $4,400 on DraftKings. He's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well at $14, one of the more cheaper tight ends. I guess you could go there, but I'm going to be trying to fit in as much Ertz and Ebron as I can. Those are the 2 tight ends that could really break the slate, that have 25, 30-point upside. I would highly doubt you get a big game like that out of Trey Burton. But if you're trying to go full jam him in, play like Zeke. If you're trying to play T.Y. or play Zeke with maybe DeAndre Hopkins, you're probably going to be forced to go cheap at tight end, which I could see going with Trey Burton in that situation. Hunter Henry is expected to be active. He's expected to come off the PUB list. He's been out for like 7 months with a torn ACL, I believe. He's the minimum price over on DraftKings. He's $2,500. On Yahoo, he's the same price as Trey Burton, and I would much rather play Trey Burton. But if Hunter Henry's not going to be limited much, I could see taking a flyer on him since he's minimum price. Hunter Henry was one of the better tight ends when he was healthy. Great pass catcher, is going to be used in passing situations. And if you think the Chargers are playing from behind in this game, Hunter Henry is pretty appealing at $2,500. Don't mind him as a flyer since he is minimum price on DraftKings. But like I said, on Yahoo, same price as Trey Burton. I think I'd rather play Trey Burton in that situation. But let's go ahead and move on over to defense now. So defense for me, probably going to be playing a lot of Cowboys in this situation. Also, since it's a 4-game slate, I definitely don't mind playing a defense against players I have. So even though I like Chris Carson, I like Tyler Lockett, I'll still have some lineups with the Cowboys defense just because they're cheap. They're a good defense. They're at home. On Yahoo, the Cowboys defense is minimum price. They're definitely going to be the defense that I play a lot over there. If you can pay up, though, obviously can't go wrong with the Bears. I think the Ravens at $16 on Yahoo. The Ravens at $3K on DraftKings, definitely a good defense as well. The Ravens, Cowboys, and Bears, I know that's the top 3 defenses on DraftKings in price, but just don't want to go cheap at defense. Like the Texans, you could maybe go to, but I actually could see that game shooting out. Don't love the Seahawks defense on the road. Don't love the Chargers defense on the road either. Mostly going to be playing the Cowboys, especially on Yahoo where they're minimum price. $2,800, like them a lot on DraftKings as well. I like the Ravens at $3K. But I think that's it for defense, guys, and I think that's it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. or you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck on this wildcard round slate. We'll see you back next week for the divisional round, and have another NFL video out for that slate. Peace, guys.